As the famous quote by Nobel laureate Amartya Sen, where he clearly said that economic growth without investing in human capital is unsustainable and unethical. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Debapratin Patnaik. Today, I'll be talking about India's G20 presidency and issues of Global South. So, becoming a voice of unheard community is not new for India, because just after independence, when Russia and America were into the Cold War, so that time our Prime Minister chose a different path, and that was we know as non-alignment movement. So by now we all have realized that how crucial that move was, and how important it is to be a community of some people or some countries, or be representative of those who are being colonized for so many years. So now, in this time of G20 meets, India is advocating for inclusiveness, oneness, one earth, so we have one future. And for that, in order to make the whole world understand that India is not just Delhi, India is very much diverse, and India is very much vast geographical terrains. So that is why India is conducting all the G20 meetings over across the country, about more than 200 cities. Now, when we talk about Global South, what we understand that often the third world countries, like all the and the disadvantaged countries like Africa, Nigeria, or the Latin American countries, who like together the global 20, all the 19 countries and European Union constitute about 85% of global GDP and 75% of the global trade. But all these countries are not on the driving seat. We often have to face the consequences of the results or the actions taken by the West. And how I can say that is, since revolution, we have seen that all the countries, all the now developed countries, have exploited the nature left and right. But now, in order to compensate that exploitation, they are imposing restriction on carbon footprint on the third world countries, or on the less or recently decolonized countries. So in order to be a voice of them, India's G20 presidency is very crucial. And also there are so many issues like International Monetary Fund needs so many governance reforms and so many monetary amendments. But that was these issues were raised way earlier in 2020, but still there is no action. So this G20 meets are going to be a crucial platform to make all the countries come together and voice for these amendments, because after pandemic all the countries have faced severe consequences in terms of economy. And now in the year 2022, 50 countries have to resort to the International Monetary Fund in order to have some financial assistance. But due to lack of reforms, all the assistance cannot be made at that point of time. And also the climate resilience or the climate actions needs to be taken care of by us. And in order to be that voice, India is advocating all the reforms at hand. And also now we are talking, we are at the middle phase of Agenda 2030, that those are sustainable development goals. But so far the progress is not up to the mark. So India is doing great up to the extent that localizing all the sustainable development goals. Like I am studying in a rural development institute, I know that all the panchayats are now being hand-holded in order to implement the sustainable development goals needed for development of those areas. So these models can, okay, thank you. These models can be replicated.